All right, Aquarius, welcome to your weekly sidereal forecast for May 18th through the 24th. My name is Athen. So let's go ahead and look at your chart for this week. Right at the beginning on Monday, we have a new moon taking place right on the cusp between your third house and your fourth house. So you've already had a new moon in your third house last lunar cycle. So there's already been this whole energy about, your communications, exchanging, reading, writing, teaching, how you're thinking, things like this. And so now you get another new moon here, except it's different. It's right on the cusp between the fourth, and you've already got all this energy here pulling onto it as well in the fourth. So it's a little bit about that, but it's also about home and family. It's about connecting to your feelings, connecting to your past, your roots, your sentiments, things like this, perhaps through your communications and vice versa. With the new moon so close to both houses, it's really this merging between the emotional and conscious or mind element of things and finding that middle path, which is really the heart center. So connecting to the heart is what I'm feeling, but through balancing both the emotional and conscious side of things because of that new moon, harnessing both energies at the bottom of the chart, which are very foundational, very rooted, very grounded even. And in that way, you will have that keen awareness of both areas, both the mental, communicative, and emotional and past and sort of root areas of life as well. And this is the fourth house is where you're going to have a lot of this emphasis anyways this week and for the next month, because we've got Mercury going retrograde here, we have Mars already here, and we've got the Sun shifting in here as well. So definitely highly activated, things relating to home, past, your roots, your sentiments. And it's a pause, it's a reflection of this. One thing I want to say too is that, the sun likes, both the sun and Mars like to be at the top of the chart. And so here they're in a position where they're just a little bit of their lower nature, lower energy. So if you've been finding, like especially with your self-expression and your actions and your energies over the past month, being kind of like you're putting in more energy than what you're seeing back kind of thing, because, it's this more like, it's almost like, not resistive, but it feels like there's a lot of energy being pushed forward, but not a whole lot coming back. It's because of the placement of the Mars and Sun energy here being at the bottom of the chart where they're not their best. They're still there, and so it's just a matter of utilizing them in the right place, because usually when we express ourselves and usually when we take action, especially because Mars rules your 10th, it wants to be up here. It wants to be in the limelight, in the public, big picture related things. So the key here is to work with these energies nice and softly, nice and subtly, especially this week, because we're going to have some oppositions I'll talk about. Be patient, long term, it's big energy for everybody really, but especially relating to your self-expression, relating to relationships, relating to your work and your communications and everything on that emotional level as well. I'm saying that because the Sun rules your 7th, Mars rules your 10th and 3rd, and it's all happening here in your 4th. So that's the key. Be patient with it, and you'll notice too those areas are improving as both of these planets now over the next few weeks start to climb up the chart. So that's the energy, this whole week. But the early part, it's a reflective time anyways with that new moon. Reflect on both the 3rd and 4th house related things, because there's certainly some new beginnings coming about from that. Now, Mercury is also retrograde in that 4th house, going station retrograde Monday and Tuesday. So I think, over the next few weeks, I think it's important for you guys to reflect on what's important to you sentimentally, emotionally, domestic side of life, home, family, your past. Think about these things, because with Mercury retrograde, it's the time you want to put energy into them. And it's through that experience, it's through that energy you put into it, you'll learn. So, oftentimes Mercury's talked about not doing things, but it's not like that. It's just that you want to treat it as a learning process. You want to actually put that energy into it, and it'll be through those experiences you're going to learn the most. Then in the next few weeks, when Mercury goes direct, you'll be able to apply a lot of these 4th house things into your life. And this is going to be a big arena here for you for the next month or more. Also, Mercury rules your 5th house and your 8th house. So just like with any Mercury retrograde, there's going to be a reflection on how you're expressing yourself, how you're creating, and also on the deeper side of life, the things that are important to you on that deeper level. So reflect on those things as well for the next few weeks. Now, that's the early part of the week. As you can see, very subtle, very low-lying energy. Then on Thursday and Friday, Venus opposes up to Pluto. which is another, there's two major oppositions this week, really suggesting this balance and patience. And with this, however, perhaps you guys have been enjoying the creative side of life or the playful side of life. Expressing yourself perhaps has been very enjoyable, and that's all very nice. Maybe even home has been very enjoyable as well. She also rules your 4th house. But anyways, restructuring, especially the self-expression, and be willing to not get too attached to the things that you create or the things that you express, that you put out into the world, because that's the energy of Pluto. Pluto is always about seeing past the attachments in order for us to make change there. And it's when we don't have that attached perspective, when we release those attachments, that's when we're more willing and able to make change. And so for you, it's change particularly in the 5th house arena of self-expression and creativity. So it'll be through that non-attached perspective you'll be able to make a lot of these changes. And I really recommend it too, because when we're the agent of change and we're willing to make change there, it doesn't feel like the change is happening to us, especially with an opposition, because it can often feel like it's happening from the outside. But it's all coming from a lot of this power and restructuring that's been taking place with groups and community-related things and friends. And so just finding that nice balance between, this whole, very transformative, powerful stuff going on here with the 11th house and this more enjoyable, more expressive part of life as well. But the key is just be willing to make change and release any attachments the best you can. Now, Friday and Saturday, the Sun opposes up to Saturn. Now, this is a more familiar energy because you've already had Mercury and Mars oppose up to your ruler Saturn. So now the Sun is opposing up to Saturn, which means the Earth is actually closest to Saturn this week. So for you guys, because Saturn is your ruler, Earth is close by. So I think it's going to be a very grounding week. And I think anything on that practical level, especially in the work sector, because that's where Saturn's transiting, anything you've been working on that practical level, pragmatic level with work, it's a really good week to bring that responsible energy into the domestic side of life, into the 4th house related things, which is home, family, and past. And if you're willing to bring in that Saturnine energy, which you Aquarians naturally do anyways, then you'll find it very supportive for these things this week. So really just having that same thing, balancing domestic and work life, bringing in that patience into it, especially here though, relating to your relationships and your self-expression, because Sun is of course about self-expression, but the Sun also rules your 7th house. Okay, so it's this, just patience, taking things seriously, commitment, responsibility, maturity with relationships, all of that stuff you'll find very, very supportive over the weekend. Now, Mars is trending up to the North Node over the weekend as well. So the North Node for you has been in the 8th house. So this whole year has been about connecting to the deeper side of life, what life is truly about beyond the veils, creating healthy bonds, being open, vulnerable with yourself and others. And so anything relating to the 8th house, which is also uncovering the truth and seeing things for how they actually are, whether it's on a global level, which is oftentimes the case for you Aquarians, like to see things on that global level, exposing the truth there, but just in general with yourself and maybe even with your one-on-one connections. Do those deeper things over the weekend. You'll find that very, very supportive, and it's supporting you in the home sector. I would recommend too over the weekend, get involved with home and family and things like that, because you will learn a lot with that Mercury retrograde, and it will be very supportive with that North Node. So all in all, very highlighted here with the 4th house for you, balancing 10th and 4th certainly. And reflecting on these things this week is certainly the highlight. The week is starting off in a very low energy sphere, and then as the week unfolds, more and more of that energy comes out. But again, because of the oppositions, taking things nice and slow, be willing to make changes, but in that long-term big picture perspective. So Aquarius, I hope you guys have a nice week. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you're new to this form of astrology, do check out masteringzodiac.com, or if you'd like a personal session, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.